It was past midnight when the neon light of Rusty Jack's Diner flickered against the foggy highway. The rain had just stopped, leaving the asphalt glistening under the dim streetlight. Inside, the diner was quiet, only the low hum of the old refrigerator and the faint crackle of a radio playing soft country music filled the space. Behind the counter stood Lily, a 22-year-old waitress whose tired eyes carried the weight of too many sleepless nights. She was working her third double shift this week, saving every penny to pay off her late father's debts. The world had been cruel lately. Her mother was gone, her younger brother was sick, and her dreams of becoming a nurse had been buried beneath piles of unpaid bills and endless worry. But that night, something unexpected was about to happen, something that would change her life forever. As the clock struck 12:47 a.m., the roar of motorcycles broke through the quiet. The sound grew louder, deeper, like thunder rolling closer. Lily froze, her hands trembling slightly as she wiped a glass. Outside, through the rain-streaked window, she saw them, 6 men on massive bikes, black leather jackets glistening under the wet light, each bearing the same terrifying patch across their backs, a skull with wings and the words Hell's Angels. They parked in a perfect line, engines growling before shutting off one by one. The door swung open, and the scent of gasoline, smoke, and danger filled the diner. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, in the idea that even the toughest hearts can change, then please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel, Kindness Tales. It helps us spread more real, emotional stories like this one. Lily's heart pounded in her chest. She'd heard stories about the Hell's Angels, men who lived by their own rules, feared by many. They walked in slowly, heavy boots thudding against the old tile floor. The leader, a tall, broad-shouldered man with a gray beard and tattoos creeping up his neck, scanned the diner before sitting down at the far corner booth. The others followed quietly. Their presence filled the small space with raw power and mystery. Lily took a deep breath, grabbed her notepad, and forced herself to approach their table. Her hands shook slightly, but she smiled anyway, hiding her fear behind politeness. "Good evening, sir, what can I get you?" Her voice wavered, but the leader didn't answer immediately. He just stared at her, his icy blue eyes studying her face. Finally, he spoke in a deep, gravelly tone, "Coffee. Black. And whatever's hot." As Lily turned to walk away, something caught her eye, the man's jacket. On the right shoulder, near a faded patch, hung a small silver pin shaped like an eagle. Her heart skipped a beat. That pin, she had seen it before. Her father had one exactly like it. Without thinking, the words slipped from her mouth. "Hi, sir, my dad had a motorcycle just like yours." The table went silent. All 6 men turned their heads toward her, expressions unreadable. The leader slowly looked up from his cup. "What did you just say?" he asked, voice low and cold. Lily swallowed hard, realizing she might have said too much. But she continued softly, "My dad used to ride a Harley. Looked just like yours. He passed away a few years ago." For a moment, no one said anything. Then the leader leaned back, his face softening slightly. "What was his name?" "Daniel Cole," she replied, her voice barely a whisper. The man's eyes widened, and he exchanged a quick look with one of his crew. A long silence followed before he muttered, "Daniel Cole?" He set his cup down slowly. "You're saying Danny Boy was your father?" Lily froze. You knew him?" The man nodded, his rough voice trembling just enough to betray emotion. "Knew him? He rode with us. Years ago. Before he disappeared." Her knees nearly gave out. Her father, riding with the Hell's Angels? He had never told her that. All she remembered was him coming home with grease on his hands, smelling of fuel, smiling through exhaustion as he told her bedtime stories about freedom, open roads, and brotherhood. But she never knew it was this brotherhood. The man's voice softened. Danny was one of the best riders we ever had. But one day he just walked away. Said he wanted a better life for his little girl. Guess I know who that was now. Lily's eyes filled with tears. Memories of her father flooded her mind, the nights he'd tuck her in, the laughter, the promises. He died in a car accident, she whispered. He was driving home from work, someone ran a red light. He didn't make it. The leader's jaw tightened, his knuckles white around the cup. He was a good man, he murmured. Didn't deserve that. Then he looked at her again, something raw in his eyes. He saved my life once. In a fight out in Reno. Took a knife for me. I owe that man everything. Lily stood there, speechless. She hadn't expected this. The bikers she'd feared moments ago were now looking at her not as strangers, but as the daughter of a fallen brother. The night stretched on. They stayed for hours, sharing stories about her father, how he used to joke even in the worst moments, how he'd dream of leaving the road behind to raise his daughter right. Lily listened, tears falling freely as she realized how much of her father she'd never known. The leader, whose name she learned was Bear, finally took something from his jacket, a small, worn leather patch with her father's old road name stitched across it, Danny Boy. He handed it to her. He wanted you to have this one day. Guess it's about time. Lily held it close to her heart, trembling. Thank you, she whispered. Before leaving, Bear placed a thick envelope on the counter. For your brother, he said softly. He's one of ours too now. Your family, kid. She tried to protest, but he raised a hand. Your dad looked out for us. Now it's our turn. As the bikes roared back to life outside, she stood at the window, watching them disappear into the misty highway, the sound fading like a heartbeat. For the first time in years, she didn't feel alone. She felt her father's spirit in that sound, the rumble of the road, the bond of loyalty, the kind of love that never dies. Weeks later, Lily found a note inside the envelope along with the money. It was a message written in her father's handwriting, one she'd never seen before. If you ever meet my brothers again, tell them I kept my promise, I raised her strong, and she carries my heart wherever she goes. Her tears soaked the page. Somehow, she knew her father was smiling down on her that night. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that family, loyalty, and love can outlast even death, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Tales. Help us keep these true and emotional stories alive. Special request, speech balloon, comment below what part of this story touched your heart the most, and if you believe that kindness always finds its way back, no matter how dark the road gets.